About 5 years ago, actually 6 years ago now, this was in 2004, I got suckered into attending a self-help conference, a seminar of sorts, by a person I no longer consider a friend. Partly because of that, and partly some other things she did too. And I'm not going to give any names. There's no point. The people involved know who they are, and they know who did it. And I have a small suspicion that some of these people are actually still paying attention, looking for excuses to litigate. Because they did. But I'm getting ahead of myself in the story here. The seminar itself was a week-long entrepreneurial self-help type seminar. We're going to help you get your business off the ground, network you with people that have money to invest, and we're going to give you the skills you need in a week that would normally take years of MBA study to earn. And we're going to do it for just a few $1,000s, and you'll be on your way with your own shiny new business and guaranteed success. Yeah, it was a scam. The whole thing was just a con. The content was miserably lousy. The people were all con artists and snake oil salesmen. There was a guy selling a sticker that you put on your exhaust pipe that supposedly gave your car better gas mileage. There was another charlatan that had one of these blinking LED machines that you put your hand under that would magically fix everything from cancer to arthritis. It was that kind of show. And the whole thing was a complete waste. Now, I let some time pass between when I went to this stupid thing and ended up writing about my experiences there, because I needed some time to digest it all, and needed to carefully evaluate whether it was really just my failing to not do something right, or to misinterpret all the stuff they presented, or whether it was really just a con. I finally came down on the side of con. So I wrote a blog entry. Initially, it wasn't very big, just about my experiences at this place. And again, I'm not going to mention its name. There's a reason. There's a couple reasons, and they're both really good. And for a few months, I got emails and comments about this article, but, or about the blog post, really. It was nothing more than a blog entry. And finally, I was contacted by people who manage the company directly. And they said, well, you entered into an agreement with us as a student, or a participant, agreeing not to disparage the company, or as the contract put it, to cause harm to the goodwill of the business. In demonstrating just what kind of goodwill that business had, it spent the next few months trying to intimidate me into accepting an increasingly nasty settlement agreement that further and further restricted my freedom of speech. And finally, I told them where to stuff it, which they did for a few months, and then in I think it was 2006, they actually filed suit against me, which just made me laugh. They sued me in an out-of-state court that had no jurisdiction. They did it in secret, obtaining a temporary restraining order against me without so much as a hearing or notification for me to defend myself. They made a bunch of mistakes, and when I responded with a 12-page written response to the court, I raised about 3 different constitutional issues, including jurisdiction, or lack thereof, the First Amendment protections, and there was a third one. Oh, right, the fact that they did everything in a clandestine fashion and were essentially just trying to gag me. The court agreed and scheduled a hearing just to hear those 3 arguments, because there was a significant chance that the case was going to simply be dismissed. Miraculously, a day before that hearing was supposed to take place, the company suing me, or rather the lawyer for the company, called with a remarkably agreeable settlement offer, which I took, because at the time I didn't have the money to fight. If this had happened now, you bet your ass I'd have taken them all the way to court. But back then, I wasn't making really any money. I was living on savings and just scrapping by doing odd jobs and different programming things here and there. So I took the settlement. The terms of the settlement were that I leave my article offline and that I don't ever say anything bad about them, which is why I haven't mentioned their name. I'll get to the other reason here in a minute. And in exchange for that, they agreed to eat their own costs for the case, to drop it with prejudice, meaning it could never be brought again. And they also, more damagingly, agreed never to litigate against me again for any purpose whatsoever, so long as I stuck to the terms of the agreement. In exchange, the temporary restraining order turned into a permanent one, meaning I'm no longer ever permitted to say anything bad about that company ever again. Now, what's amusing, and here comes that second reason why I won't mention their name, they tried, unsuccessfully, to have this article removed from everywhere that it found itself. See, there were some people who were pretty irritated by the fact that they tried to censor me. And they offered to host or copy the article and post it themselves on their own sites. And these people did not enter into any agreements with this company. And the company actually tried to say, well, since this guy was a member and he agreed to this it wasn't a restraining order, it was an injunction, excuse me. He agreed to this injunction, you're bound by it too. And I'm proud to say that lots of people out there, or that the people out there that mirrored this thing for me, stuck their middle finger up and said, no, buddy, we didn't agree to any terms with you, and no, we're not enjoined by this injunction. Go to hell. I'm proud to say that the damage done in revealing that this is a scam caused two very important things that I'm very proud of to this day, and I will never back down from my pride in this. The first was revealed in the company's complaint against me in the lawsuit. Their membership rolls were dropping drastically. I'd like to think it's just because of my expose on the group, but I'm really thinking it's because people were starting to realize more and more that this thing was a scam, and their recruitment efforts weren't pulling in as many suckers as they used to. The second and more telling thing that happened here is the company put up a website declaring themselves not to be a scam, and about, I think, 3 or 4 months later, after this lawsuit was dropped, they changed their name. So the company is no longer known by the old name, and they changed it to something completely different so that when you search for the new company and the word scam, you don't get my old archived article, linked and archived by other people that I have no control over. I did enough harm to these assholes that they had to change their name. I'm really proud of that. That's something that few consumers can really ever say they've done something positive. And I think I really did the world a service by doing that. It's taken me a long time to post anything about this or say anything, because it's you have to walk a fine line, and by not mentioning them by name, there's no risk of being sued. Of course, they know who I'm talking about. Hi, jerks. And the people involved on the other side that were supporting me, they know who I'm talking about. Thanks, everybody. But there's no litigation that can come out of this. And I wanted to be careful and make sure I presented something intelligent before I did a video post or a blog about it. But anyway, the point of this is to say that when somebody tricks you or cons you, kind of like this Rapture thing, like the poor guy that spent $100,000 on billboards and that sort of thing. When you get conned into something like that, for me it was a few thousand, for others it can be more, you really do have options. You can get up and complain, and you can complain loudly, and the more you complain and the louder you complain, the better off the world will be for it. Even when the company comes down hard on you and tries to sue you, tries to silence you, once the cat's out of the bag, they can't silence everybody. And that's the trick. You may personally be forced to stop complaining, but when you do enough of it, when you do it loudly enough, when you do it where other people can see it and hear it, the message can't be killed. And that's what these people at this company learned the hard way. You can't kill a message, you can only shoot the messenger. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm just wanting to clear the air a little bit about that and kind of give a nya to the people that tried to do that to me. Great job wasting your money on that lawsuit, morons. Didn't do much good, did it? I know that today they do more business in international waters on boats, so that they're not even subject to American law. I guess they've decided that it's not worth it to do this scam in America anymore. You can pick up Americans and go scam them offshore, but doing it on American soil is apparently no longer an option for them now. And I'm really proud to have been part of that. So anyway, I will check in with folks later. Thanks for watching. See ya.